Okay, perfect.
Alrighty.
Awesome. Hey guys. So I'm Katie. Megan and I are success partners. My name's Katie Fleisher. I'm from New Hampshire, actually. Oh, that's my sister Samantha who just popped on. She's one of my diamonds. I'm a 3-star diamond. I'm from New Hampshire. I have a 4-year-old daughter named Poppy. Let's see. So Megan and I are working together to run this training group and get y'all started right here. And hopefully you guys can work with each other and learn from each other, maybe even find success partners in this group, because I've always said, like, a success partner, which I can tell you what that is if you guys don't know, is the number one thing for this business. So success partner is basically like an accountability girlfriend, like, for your business. It's basically someone who just, like, hash things out with, talk about, set your goals with, bitch to, whatever you need to do. And that, maybe you wouldn't necessarily go to your upline about or your downline. So it's a really good thing to have. So I do want to start out with Brittany's question. Let me just open it up here. She said, what was the turning point in your business? And I think that's an awesome question. I just lost my Zoom. Okay, there we go. I actually was just talking about this today. I truly think the turning point in my business, I've been coaching for 2.5 years, and it took me a while to get to diamond, probably a 1.5 years. And in the past year, I've come to 3-star. So the turning point in my business, I can remember the day, like if I'm ever on a national wake up call and he's like, what was your aha moment? It was, I used to have a different success partner. Her name was Jenny. And we would, we set our goals. We'd talk every week and try to figure out our goals. And one day we kind of just decided, we're so sick of making like $100 here and there and not being consistent, and what's going on. Sorry, I have to plug in my computer. My battery's about to die. And so we decided right then and there, it was November of 2014. We were like, let's shoot for all stars. That gives us the consistency to not quit. And so basically a Success Club All-Star is when you hit Success Club 5 or 10, whatever you're pushing for. And we'll talk about Success Club a little bit too, because I know you might have read it up in the training, but if you have any more questions, bring them up now. Basically All-Star is just holding Success Club 5 for 12 months straight for an entire year. When we did that, it kind of just gave us a reason not to give up. And on the hard months, when you got to the end of the month and you're like, shucks, I don't want to push any further. Like, I'm so tired, or I want to just go to Christmas and party, and I want to go out on New Year's. It made it so that we didn't quit and kept going. And that kind of changed our mindset for holding on, not just month over month, but for an entire year. One of my coaches originally said to me at the very beginning, if you do nothing else, promise me you'll still be here in a year. And at first I was like, sure, that's not a big deal. Like, whatever, I'll do that. But then if you really think about it, like, a year's a long time and a lot can happen and you can change. And I highly recommend everyone think that to themselves, like, stay here. We're not going to be millionaires in 6 months. We're not going to be making 10 grand a month in 6 months. It's not how this business works. This business was set up for longevity, not for get rich quick. So I think that was kind of my turning point when I decided that I needed to make it work. I needed to have consistency, and that's kind of the mentality that I got. And I got to All-Star in, that November. So that was my turning point, I would say. What about you, Megan?
Okay, so I was thinking about this. My turning point for, let's see. Okay, my turning point in the business was definitely first time, and this is going to sound silly. Well, maybe not silly, but our upline just talked about it. The first time that I actually went to Super Saturday, which was like, I'd say 10 months into my business. Sad. But first of all, I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't sure about events. I was still shy, and I was like, they're going to call on me, and I don't do that. So I was just like, whatever, we're going to go. I'm going to figure this out. I went with a couple other people, and it wasn't anything fancy, nothing showy. You didn't need to do anything. You could just sit in your seat and listen. But going to an event like that, really made me look at it like this is a legitimate business. It's not just some like side gig little thing that I have fun with because I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, it's not my hobby anymore. So hearing the coaches and their stories come out of that, doing a live workout, all that energy, all the people in that room who I was like, there's nobody as crazy about this as I am, but there are, and they just get you. That is kind of what turned this into like, this is a long-term thing. This is not something that was just placed in my lap for, covering Christmas bills that year. It was for long-term, to help build our income since we're on one. But I'd also say there's probably two things. The second part of this that really just like changed the business for me was I stopped treating it like a hobby, and I actually gave my work the intentional, like focused intentional effort each day, rather than just, kind of piecemealing, kind of throwing up a post here and there. I actually started doing the business activity tracker and the vital behaviors every day. And doing that consistently, just like a workout program, you got to keep showing up for it to become a habit. But doing that consistently over like a month or two and seeing results from it and not being scared to do those things anymore really helped. So I would say those two things.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally agree with Super Saturdays. I remember my first one. I loved it. I've gone to every Super Saturday, every summit. They are life-changing. Megan and I are going to LA in February together for the NLC conference and the cruise, Punta Cana, in April. It really makes you feel like you're not just sitting in a room by yourself staring at a computer all night. So I love live events. Does anyone have any specific questions, any conversations you have going on that you need help with, what to post about, what the hell you're doing? Sorry, I swear a lot. What, like, you just feel lost, or any questions, like, this is just us. It's not a big deal. This is super, low key. So don't hesitate if you have any questions to ask us, or we both like to talk, so we can keep talking too.
Anybody?
Sorry, I didn't know how to unmute myself.
Hey, girl.
Hi. Yeah, I'd say all of the above. I guess really where I am is I'm not really sure what to post. Like what's that first post? Like, hey, I'm doing this, or I'm just not really sure what to say.
So when I first posted, I started just throwing out breadcrumbs. And at the time, I was doing kind of like something similar to what you're doing. I was eating the plan, I was drinking Shakeology, but I wasn't doing the workouts. And so I was checking in to our local gym that I was going to for classes. And I was just kind of throwing that out there that I was like working out. So, you run and you do the programs like on the other time. So you could start with, just starting about a running journey. I would say anything, but just little breadcrumbs like that. And then I would like to hear how Katie explains it too, but I know what it's like to throw it all out there and then you get unfollowed by like half your friends list off the bat. I've had that happen before. So we don't want that to happen to you. So I tend to tell you guys to just post about your daily life for like the first few weeks and see what kind of attraction you get. And by that, I mean, I think we talked about on the phone one time how you did say that eating is like for your whole family and you've changed it for everybody. Just throwing up a recipe that like, this dish was a win because my whole family ate it, including my 2 toddlers. Like something like that. It didn't say anything about being a coach, Beachbody, nothing. But you're like, I don't know. So little things like that. And then I worked in the workout posts when I was checking into the gym, talking about, if I did a double day or whatever. And it was just to kind of like start sharing, but that's how I just like to get started.
Okay.
I like that. I did actually the complete opposite of that and probably lost a few Facebook friends. Um, I was taught kind of to do like a coming out post. So I did like hey, just so you guys know, I just started this crazy journey. I'm like, still trying to get off this baby weight because my daughter was like a year and a half old when I started and I thought I still had baby weight. I was like, I was an apprentice coach in my uplines challenge group. So basically like I help her run it, like, do some posts, share, basically just like, like you do in a regular challenge group, but she was leading it. So that's kind of how I did it. And then, I kind of had a little bit of a transformation because I had been starting to work out before that. So I, shared my journey and that's kind of how I started. I don't know. I didn't have many Facebook friends at the time. So probably, and I never posted on Facebook like before that. So it probably was weird and like off-putting, but I was okay with it. I don't know. I was just told that's just what we did. So that's all I knew. But I like both ideas. I mean, definitely breadcrumbing your story and sharing just the day-to-day stuff. Like people just want you to add value to their lives. So like people want to see you happy if they're your friends. Well, no matter what, you're going to be unfollowed by someone eventually. So just get it over with off the bat. But like, as long as you can add value to people's lives, exactly like Megan said, like with a recipe that your whole family likes, or, I'm not sure. Where do you live? Do you live in,
I'm in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay, Delaware. So you can talk about, I don't know what the weather is there. It's freezing up here. It's been snowing for 2 days in New Hampshire. So, I would say if I was a runner, I'd be like, oh, this is how I stay warm when I run. Like just any ways that you can add value to people's lives, and adding value is including sharing pictures of your family, because I love seeing pictures of my friends' kids and stuff. And adding value is also telling the not so crazy things that your toddlers do that make everyone laugh. Like that's adding value. It's not just like information overload.
Right.
But it's kind of just sharing anything that you're doing, because if you think about this as like an opportunity and something that's powerful and can change like other people's lives, I just think of where I was when I started, and like I work in a cubicle with a bunch of old ladies, and I would be like a porker, I'm sure, if I wasn't like a coach anymore, because they do not eat healthfully and have no idea what healthy even means. Mm-hmm. So, like I feel as though, for myself, it's held me accountable. And if you can even just talk about that aspect of it, that would help. That could help a lot of people, and knowing that you can help others will make it not seem like offensive to people. Right. And I've been unfollowed by hundreds of people.
I can actually just say one thing that I was thinking about too. You could go back to, maybe Katie doesn't want people to do this, but I think it's fine. I actually was just pulling up mine. You could go to like our pages and go back. So I started posting about stuff like this in January of 2015. So let me screen share with you. Can I do that real quick? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me screen share with you some of the first things off the bat that I like started to do. Can you guys see my Facebook now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So let me go to this. And let me preface this by saying before this time, I never got on Facebook. It was pretty much to just like Facebook stalk others. So I just started randomly like putting my life out there. Giant rewards, like informational. If you went to Giant, did you know you could get gas rewards? Something super easy, simple, like has nothing to do with coaching. Just has to be about you. Like I like deals. So I talked about stuff like that. Let me go up here. Motivational stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see here my check-ins for the gym. Didn't really say much about it. Just like, crazy day, finally made it. Another check-in. And let's see. Just random stuff. A lot of Bryce, because Bryce is my life. A lot of real stuff like moms, like scandal. Another check-in. So throw in your workouts for sure. And then here's where I kind of, you can see I threw in a recipe. Here's where it kind of changed a little bit for me. I had done the 21-day fix and never ran before. So I was scared out of my mind, and I posted about the run. And then that's kind of when I did my like coming out post after that. Like, why did I do so well in it? And it's because I had been living this healthy lifestyle. So I gave credit to my SDF workouts, the studio I was going to, and then the healthy lifestyle that I was, doing. So that's kind of interesting. I think you can go back a little bit and kind of get an idea of what people shared and things like that. Now, I'm not saying everything is right. And I probably made mistakes, but for me, it was easier to slowly like put myself out there than bam. And I also wonder too, like Katie and I have been doing this now for a couple of years. I also wonder too, if since, the network has grown, that I don't know, what is your take, Katie, on like a big post?
That is a good point. I still have my coaches do it because, I'm proud. I know, most people know about it. So if you're saying,
I'm not like saying anything negative at all.
No, exactly. And like, I tend to go with the mindset, like we were talking earlier, like, not that I don't quite care what people think, but I've known to, not have everyone love me, and I'm okay with that. Like, if someone's not going to like me because I put up a post of me working out or a sweaty selfie, like, okay, I know that that I don't know if you've ever heard the quote, hurt people. So like, if someone feels the need to offend me, it's because defriend me, not offend me, sorry. Defriend me. It's because they're probably going through something and they don't want to deal with seeing happiness or seeing that. I'm okay with that. Whatever you're comfortable with posting, start out small. Start out with the recipes and the little stuff and go into the bigger stuff, and maybe just save like the Beachbody talk for private messages if you're more comfortable with that. Frankly, I'm still to this day 1,000 times more scared of private messages than posting. I could post myself in a bra and underwear, and I am not skinny by any means, on Facebook for the whole world to see. But sending a private message, I'm like, oh dear God, what? Oh, this is so uncomfortable. I'm so awkward. So that's like my personality, and everyone's totally different. So just step a little bit outside your comfort zone at first. Just get your feet a little wet. Don't like feel like you have to change who you are and change your personality, because that's not neither. Obviously, Megan and I are in similar places in our business and have come at it two different ways. So not one thing is the only right way to do it. You know what I mean?
And I think that, well, I would think we'd both agree on this, but you guys can, write something and send it to us and be like, what do you think?
Absolutely.
Totally fine. Or throw it up in the team page maybe and be like, girls, I'm thinking about posting this. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say about the confidence thing and, not caring what people think, that's something really hard for me, and it took me a while to just kind of get out of my own head, that if something were to happen, like, I'm doing this for a reason, to stabilize our income, bring it up more. If someone were to say something negative, like, and I just stopped, like, I'm not hurting them, I'm hurting my family. That's why I chose to do this. So I think if you have a strong why and of why you want to do this, maybe you want to pay down debt, maybe you want to quit your job, maybe you don't want to quit your job. Not everybody does, and that is totally fine. Maybe you just want to be able to, like, what if you lost your job? I actually know 3 people, one being my dad, within the last month, who have lost their job. And he's almost 55, and he's probably not going to get hired anymore. So, I mean, what if you just lost your job and you had nothing else? Like, at least you had something you were starting on the side. Those are just things like I think of. So I think each one of us has to truly figure out why we want to do this beyond the simple fact of paying it forward and helping other people. That's our goal. but we're also, you need something that on the shitty days it's going to drive you, and on the great days you're going to be like, I want to tell the whole world about this sort of thing.
Exactly. And I think that's honestly where the personal development part comes in, to get you over the self-confidence. I had a rough week last week of like the comparison game in my head was so strong. I was like, oh, this person's so successful and they're so doing this so great and they look so great and they're so skinny and I'm over here like fat and unsuccessful. That was like what was going through my mind. And then one of my coaches was like, I think you need to like turn up your PD a little bit. I was like, oh, yeah, probably. So like, which is hard to hear when you're not reading PD. So I downloaded Audible this week. I'm listening to The Secret. I listened to 3 national wake-up calls today. I listened to 2 podcasts. I'm like trying to soak it all in, and I feel much better because that's the only thing to kind of get you out of that mental headspace. We all have things that we're not comfortable doing and we're not psyched about, like, but you have to do it if you want to do this. So like if there's something that you're feeling that you don't love to do, or I always talk about, I don't like to work out. I'm not one of those people that's like naturally like, yes, I feel so much better after my workout. That's so not me. I'd rather sit on a couch and eat a bonbon. So I talk about that. I'm totally open about it. Like I work out because it's the right thing to do. It's my business and I want to set a good example for my coaches, customers, and my daughter and my family. So like you can be honest with people and, talk about the struggles that you're having. And it doesn't always have to be like positive Polly, like life's so good. Like, talk about it all. And, you can say even in a post, like, this is super awkward. I'm sure you've seen 100 people as a Beachbody coach, but I'm pretty psyched because I get to focus on myself for once instead of the kids for 5 seconds and, spin it into something like that. It doesn't have to be like a crazy emotional post or anything like that. But if you don't have a personal development book and, you're looking for one, tell us like, if you know what one of your weaknesses is, like time management or confidence or public like talking to in public, things like that, we can help you find a good book. I know by now we've probably read hundreds of them. So,
and I know for me, it was hard to like even get into personal development because I was like, where am I going to find the time for that too?
right.
But literally, like you find it in the most most crazy ways. Like just plug in your headphones while you're doing laundry, while you're cooking, turn on the Bluetooth in your car as you're driving. Right now listen to Christmas music in the car, but
while you're in the shower,
I put my phone up there on the ledge and I just play like a podcast or a wake up call or something. Because otherwise I mean, those are like wasted minutes too. And I'd rather be filling that stuff with not my head just turning in circles of anxiety of like thinking about whatever I have to do in my life, but I'd actually rather just hear something and focus on something positive. So you will just find those like hidden moments. We're not saying you have to sit there and read a whole book in a week. Like, no, like you get Audible, you get like a few, it's a free app. And then I think you get like 2 free downloads for the first month or something. And they're great resources. And then the podcasts are free. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. Same thing. Whatever. I am not good at reading. I'm slow. I don't like it. I'm not good at it. So I love listening to audiobooks. You can just YouTube free personal development audiobooks and tons come up. I can post in the training group. It's in one of our days, but we'll get to it. But about personal development, I forget what day it is, but I have a list and it's based on like kind of your areas of weakness. I shouldn't say that, but whatever it's called, like of those things, time management, read, eat this frog. So, in the library, yes, I get all my books. I'm such a cheapskate. I get all my books if I rent them from the library. Did that answer your question? I don't even remember what the question was. That was a while ago.
What to post about and how to get out there.
I'm more comfortable sending a private message. I mean, I've sent,
that's
awesome.
I've sent quite a few, and that's a thing. So it's, and I've got some responses. Some people haven't responded, which is fine. And I've had some people respond, and obviously I have, I don't know. I guess I assume Megan can see, but nobody's, I haven't signed it yet or whatever.
That's right. It takes more than like one talking to. It's not instant.
Right. So, but I would much prefer to send, I
Mhm.
prefer the private messages rather than like, the post on Facebook. But I do acknowledge that at some point I need to get over it and just do it. And I- I'm sure I'll feel better about it and more comfortable about it. And that's the thing is the people that I'm closest to already know this. And why the hell do I care what the rest of the people think?
Exactly. Like you're like these people from high school that I haven't talked to. I understand, like,
Why,
but
what the hell does that matter?
everyone thinks that. Maybe instead of like your first picture being with you like hugging a Shakeology bag, it can be like with your Shakeology bottle in front of a kid zooming by, and you're like, this is the only thing I have time. Like the number one reason I say I drink Shakeology is because it's the only thing I have time for. I'm a single mom of a 4-year-old, so like I talk about that a lot, about the convenience of it, because I don't have time to sit down and eat a breakfast in the morning and make it in on time. So like whatever your thing is, why you drink Shakeology, your favorite part of it, just mention that one day. Slowly start talking about something like that, or your workouts, or little tips and stuff. And it doesn't have to be like anything crazy, for sure.
Right.
Any other questions? Bring them on.
Yeah. So I watched Megan's welcome video about going emerald, and I was a little bit confused. You were talking about like the right and the left, and if you could just explain that, and you know how do I sign somebody up and put them on the right or left?
So, well, okay. Let me see. Let me think here. Right now, looking at Emerald is important because I know you're looking at this long term, like the ones who are on this call are here for long term. So looking at Emerald is important and kind of getting a basis of that knowledge of what it is, because eventually that's going to be what makes your business go forward. So essentially how you get started and what you want to worry about is, I know we say which leg are you on, what's the volume, things like that. If I can kind of retract that for a second and maybe give you the best piece of advice, it's almost not focus on the rank or a number or things like that, and focus on the actual person and what you could actually offer them. Because 9 times out of 10, when I've worried about where am I going to place somebody, how am I going to sign somebody up, is this person going to work, it like never works out in my favor anyway. You just can't predict in the business who's going to work and who's not and who's going to actually show up. But to get back to your question, what it means is that once you can earn past commissions in this business. So on top of your 25% normal commissions off everything, you can earn what we call a bonus, a cycle bonus every week. And that's great because it's another form of residual income. And that's something that you don't necessarily have to sell for. Like, it's because your team is helping people. You start earning that when you become Emerald. So what Emerald is when you have 2 coaches signed up underneath of you. One is on your left and one is on your right. And when you get into the left and the right, there are points attached to it, and like volume points. So much volume has to happen on one side and so much volume has to happen on another side in order for you to be able to get that bonus each week. So it's a little bit harder to explain than just like probably right now. But I would say what we'll do is we'll take a look at where you fall in my downline and where would make sense for when you do have that first person that you either got them their transformation or they're going to continue on Shakeology, where you're going to place them. And then we can worry about that together. Like, that's something I will help you with, where to place them. I kind of didn't really answer, but.
So if I have, I have 2 friends that use Shakeology right now, but they don't have like a coach. So
you're their coach.
Yeah. So basically, like,
That's awesome.
I work with them, but I mean, one of the girls is is a girl that I run with. But is there a way, or is it
yeah.
worth it to have them move under me. I don't know what the right term is, but
Well, yeah, totally. Number one, if they're your friends and, they already know that you're doing this. Number two, if they're not already signed up as a coach, like under someone else, like you signed up in the beginning as to be a discount coach to get your Shakeology
right.
discounted, then it's no problem for them to switch. All you need is their email and like the last four of their credit card that they order with, and you can have them reassigned to you. And then once
I
they're
do that.
yeah, you can. And then once they're reassigned to you as a customer, we can move on to the next step, getting them signed up to start receiving their Shakeology at a discount and figure out, how to put one on your left and one on your right.
Okay.
And kind of go from there.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would just be like, are you, you probably know, but find out if they want to, switch to you, they should. And,
yeah, but they're both, they're both like, well, it's already set up. And I'm like, okay, well, let me find out more.
well, nothing will, I don't think anything will change with their current order. They're just going to literally get like reassigned to you.
Okay.
So they don't have to go in and put in a new order or, change dates or anything like that. It's just going to literally say that their coach is you now instead of whoever they were randomly assigned.
Okay.
But I can send you the form. It's in our back office in the FAQs too. I can send you the form and you can get the information from them to fill it out. And then we'll do that first and then we'll sign them up.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. You should have told me that you had two right off the bat. Then I would have been able to explain.
I know, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. If you have people that know already, and people want to go with their friends, so they don't. So I mean, also Beachbody, once you hit that Emerald status, gives you free customers. So those people are under some random coach that's making money off of them that they don't even know. So they'd rather you make money off of them if they're your friends than if they're your friends, and they'd rather save money if you can talk to them about the discount. So that's pretty sick. And then you'll start getting
better to connect with than a friend.
Yeah, that's
right. To help them, like in whatever comes their way, rather than some total stranger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And about the legs, I'll just touch on that for a second. So if you look in your back office under graphical genealogy, it shows an actual graph of what your legs look like. I can I don't know if I can share my screen if you're recording, but I'll share it and show you what it looks like. So my business, my downline, my graphical genealogy. And sorry, it's going to be a second because I'm on this. Okay. So my business, my downline, graphical genealogy, and it shows an actual graph. So this is actually, if someone ever says to you, my biggest pet peeve in the world is when someone tells me this is a pyramid scheme. This is where they got the concept because, well, first of all, pyramid schemes are illegal. But second of all, it looks like a pyramid. Like I'm at the top here and then my downline goes down. So I'll explain it to you guys a little bit. So I have a whole story I can tell you later about how I explain to people why this is not a pyramid scheme. But, just like any organization, if I was the CEO of a company, like I work a day job, Tim, the CEO, would be up here, the VPs are here, the, directors, and then me, minion, would be way down here. And so this is me, and I have two legs. Everyone has a left and a right leg. There's one that's considered your strong, which your coach Megan will be placing coaches under, and one which will be considered your weak, which she will not be placing coaches under. She'll be able to show you in your back office when you log in which one it is for you. It won't. My strong leg is my left leg. This girl, Kimberly, is not my PS coach. My coach, Nikki, placed her under there because that's just, I'll talk about that in a second. But so this is my strong leg and this is my weak leg. My coach told me the day that you sign up your spouse account, so your mom, your brother, well, I guess you can't do brother anymore, your mom, your dad, or your spouse. So I signed up my sister, but she actually runs the business herself now. So she got a sweet spot in my downline, the first spot right here. And so I signed her up and then I signed my mom up, but I quit and fired her. Anyway, so you have two legs. So your first person, what are your two girlfriends' names that you might sign up?
Tara and Christine.
Okay. So, you say you put Tara here and Christine here, you'd have 2 coaches. All of a sudden you'd be an Emerald coach. The cool thing about it is because, like Megan said, you start accruing volume, which turns into money. I'm not going to explain about that because it's like a lot, but just it's another form of income. Honestly, my volume is about probably 80% of my income right now. So it's kind of cool. It's not like you're always going to be like hustling for a sale every second of the day. It doesn't have to feel like that always. So that's basically it is. You have 2 legs and it goes really far down and they get inside of each other, and it gets wild. I wish you could see it like on a bigger scale, but it goes way down and you can see it. That's all basically that the legs mean. You have a left and a right, and always anytime you're about to place a coach for a while, check with Megan first. Be like, where do I set them up? Because she'll be able to help you. There have been times I built my mother to Emerald to hit Diamond, and the coach, I had 2 coaches sign up the same day. One of them was a free lead I'd never talked to before. I talked to her on the phone one day. She's like, sure, sign me up as a coach. The other girl was a girl that I've worked with for a long time. I knew her very well. They both asked me to sign them up as a coach. So I signed up the girl I knew on the inside leg of my mother, presuming that she would help build the volume, make a lot of money. She quit after a month without a single sale. The other girl that I've never met before that's a free lead is now one of my diamonds. So and I put her on the outside leg, and you have no idea who, the people you think, oh, this girl's going to totally rock this business and they're going to run it and they're going to be awesome. And you put them in a place where you think it's going to make you a ton of money. And all of a sudden you're like, well, that didn't work out as I thought. So don't be fixated on who goes where. Just check with Megan and she'll be able to help you with the specifics of it every time. So, oh yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. I think our son's still up. Oh, hey, Leanne, how are you? Did I say that right?
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I had to put my boys to bed.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. Are you in Tennessee?
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah. So it's still a little early for you there. Awesome. And you're one of Brooke's coaches, right?
Yes.
Cool. I know Brooke's got her hands full tonight. She's got all 3 babies by herself.
I know.
So I don't think she could hop on, but this is being recorded. So we'll post the beginning that you missed. Do you have any specific questions as you're getting started? This is totally open, low key. We're just anything, if you think of anything that you've come across so far that you have a question on.
No, Brooks answered a lot of questions. I'm just having trouble getting people to get challenge packs or sign up.
Yeah.
I've been really active 3 weeks because I signed up just to be a coach at first just for the discount, but then I thought, well, maybe I can do something. So I'm interested to hear everything you guys have to say.
Awesome. Honestly, I don't think that question ever really ends. I think Megan and I still have those questions. How do you sell a challenge pack and it's not happening fast enough or often enough for you? So with that, kind of the main thing, I think the number one thing is just sharing things on Facebook and talking to as many people as possible, doing the vital behaviors that we've talked about and dialing into your team page and team calls and stuff. I try to post on Facebook a few times a day, share my journey and share, my health and fitness and what I'm doing. In the first 3 weeks, it takes a while. The first 3 weeks are when, or a month or 2 is when you kind of get your friends and family that, are there to support you. You kind of knew they were coming to you eventually. The person who signed me up as a coach, Nikki, messaged me 5 times. I didn't respond to her any of the 5 times. The 5th time she messaged me, I said, okay, I'll sign up. Please send me the link. That was our conversation. I had done my own research. Don't think that people not responding to you, it doesn't mean they're going to say no. Don't think that a no means no forever. It could just mean not right now. You got to just keep talking and keep following up. It could just be I just realized the other day I had a message that I had read and forgotten to respond to because I forgot to hit the mark as on read button. It's not just that, I just totally forgot about it. It wasn't that I meant to ignore this person. So it's just a lot of repetition and following up and keep the conversation going and, sharing your journey so that they believe it. There are 500,000 Beachbody coaches right now. So when people see that, someone signs up as a Beachbody coach, they need to build trust and gain trust in you. And you do that by sharing your story and sharing your journey on Facebook. They want to know, hey, if I sign up and trust this girl Katie to help me lose weight that I've been trying to do for 20 years and nothing's happened, how do I know all of a sudden she's not just going to quit and I'm just going to be screwed and out of $140? They want to know that you're still going to be there in 6 months when they still need you, come summertime. They want to know that you're not one of those people that flakes out, because there are so many in any of these MLM businesses, not just Beachbody, that, don't give it the fair shot and think they're going to make $1 million in their first year. So I think like building that trust in people is the main thing that, is tough at the beginning, because you want to just sell all the challenge packs and make a ton of money. And believe me, I'm still in the same boat. But to gain trust from people is, a really important thing. What do you think, Megan? She was just talking about, selling challenge packs and how do we get there and making the first sale.
Sorry, you might hear my son in the background. You need to lay on the bed. We had an issue. But it's okay. So
go if you need to.
No, it's okay.
Hi.
You need to lay on the bed. Lay on the bed, please. Yes, sorry guys. Gaining trust.
Bobby.
It's fine. If she needs to go, we can.
Sorry, no. Okay, gaining trust and making the first sale, just kind of like Katie said. Well, I always think you need to make sure that when you're posting that you're not just posting as like the other 400,000 coaches out there, like noise. You want to make sure that when you're posting and someone sees it, they're going to be like, that was valuable. And not every post has to be like a huge, long thing, sharing tips, tricks, all that. But you just want to make it so that they see value in it. So once you start building that value and the trust, then they do come to you. But it's also like there are a lot of people that are scared and not going to come to you at all. I think like Katie was saying. And that's why you have to be vulnerable and share good, valuable stuff, but also be talking to people on the sidelines privately. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to message you and say, I saw that post and I'm ready to join your challenge group. Like, it's going to take a little bit more. And I think it also means more and gives you more credibility in your business and doing this
My
job.
eye hurts.
I know, buddy. My
eye hurts.
It gives you more credibility and makes this job, I hate to say not real. It is real, but makes you know that it is real and more able to talk about it when you have people who you've built a relationship with and know how you can actually help them rather than say, here's the link, sign up. I always like hesitate sending out that link. I'm like, I don't know yet. Like, did we get there yet? But if you have the right conversations behind the sidelines and you put like your actual thought into what you're talking to them about and build that trust and find out what they need, they will trust you and they will sorry. It will turn into a sale. I am so sorry, guys.
He's so cute.
I am so sorry. There is nasty stuff on his bedroom floor from a diaper. So.
Oh no, you can go.
Okay. For a second.
That's fine. I'll look. The one thing I kind of describe myself and successful coaches and all of us as ducks. So like, as people on our team and you'll see coaches and you're like, how'd they just get to 3-star? Like, they're just swimming along like that. Look, they made it look so easy. But you don't see like the underwater, like our legs, like going like this, like barely staying afloat. You don't see like the behind the scenes stuff. So we're messaging all the time. We're posting on Facebook all the time. We're in our back office all the time. I mean, not like 24/7, but like we're doing it constantly and consistently. And, I think sometimes when new coaches, you hop on the team and you're like, yeah, I saw her work out today. That's all she does is, Katie just works out and posts her shake. And all of a sudden you're a 3-star, like, or you're reaching this goal, you're at this income, and no one sees our inbox or our email box or our calls like this that we're on. Megan and I are on calls every single night or one-on-one calls. I try to get potential customers on the phone to talk to them, so it's more personable. You don't see that type of stuff. So I think it's important to know that it's not just us posting on Facebook. It's the behind the scenes, the messages, the conversations, the connections. I spend a lot of time on Facebook going through and adding value to people's lives by commenting and liking their posts. I just like to connect with people. They'll see me more on their Facebook page, and who doesn't like to get more likes on their pictures? We all do. Obviously, that's how the business of Facebook was created, or just commenting, hey, your kids are super cute. Like, how old are they now? Or, oh my God, when did you get a dog? I've been thinking about getting, whatever your personal things are. Connecting with people that way, if you're not quite ready to reach out in a private message or share your whole story on Facebook, just connecting with people through the stuff that they're posting. People post it because they want the interaction. So it's out there. That's what Facebook is all about. So I think that type of stuff sometimes gets overlooked in the work part of it, because it's not seen every day. You don't see how much time we spend on our phones or how much thought we put into a post or all that stuff. It's not just like, oh, I did my workout and shake today, and all of a sudden you're making, X amount of dollars a month. So it's a matter of sticking in the training groups and hopping on the team calls. And, I don't like to make it sound like it's a ton of work, because it definitely isn't. It's fun. I love it, but it's not just, oh, I signed up to be a coach. Now I can quit my day job and travel around the world and, have millions of babies. It's not really like that. So I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what people's dreams are. Those aren't mine. None of those are mine.
Millions of babies, not one.
No, or travel the world. I do want to quit my job. So I don't know. So just think about that too. If on each of the days in our training group, I'm trying not to do the weekends because it makes it go a little bit longer, but I know they're so busy this time of year. I want to make sure you guys have time to catch up if you're missing anything. So we'll see as we get into this weekend. But if you have any questions on the post, put a timer in your phone for whatever time of day you're free. I mean, Megan gets up at the crack of dawn to do her workouts and blows my mind. Samantha right now is in a training group for something else, for a recruiting training group, and she's getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day to make sure she can set in the time to do the hour of work that is required for the group. So, our training group is not a ton of work, 15, 20 minutes. You can read the post and watch the video or whatever. So, set that aside in your phone. Like, hey, can I pretend I'm taking a shower and hide from my kids for 20 minutes, or go sit in the car, or whatever you need to do to get away? I mean, I don't have a hot second. So, just schedule the time and make it a priority, and think of it, as Megan said, like a job, not just, oh, I'm just posting on Facebook and drinking a shake, and all of a sudden I'll reach all my goals and be where I want to be. I don't know if that answered your question at all. Sorry.
Yes.
But just know, if you keep doing those things, it will pay off eventually. Beachbody is not one of the companies that is a get rich quick scheme for a reason. They are built on longevity. Their goal is longevity and seeing results. So, they want you to make sure that you don't. Even Carl at Summit, he said something like, make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you quit your job. He's like, don't just quit your job because you're making X amount of money. He's like, have you paid off all your debt? Are you 100% sure you're stable at that income? Like, blah, blah. He was like, make sure you do the best thing. He's like, yeah, the income can be good, but make sure you're in a good place to do that. He wants everyone to be secure, and know that, he's not going anywhere and we're not going anywhere, but you have to do the right steps and the work along the way to make that happen. Which I think it's a cool company to work for, because there are other MLMs that don't feel that way, so. All right. Well, I think we have talked your ears off. If you guys, we'll probably do this in another week or so. But, we have team calls, there's trainings. Anytime you have a question, I always say the way I learned everything was through Google. If I had a question I remember what we were talking about before, the volume, how to get to volume. There's this hideous Michael Neiman video that is so funny. I think it comes up in one of our training groups. I've probably watched it 50 times. I wanted to understand it, know what was going on. It took me a few times. I'm a slow learner maybe. And I wanted to make sure I could explain it to people. every time I send it to a new coach, I, rewatch it. Like I learned what I learned through Google, and just type in, like, if you're like, Katie they were just talking about Shakeology and it has this ingredient in it that I've never heard of, but they said it was good for you. Just start Googling things, yes, not everything you believe on the internet is true. Or like how to get to Emerald. Just Google how to get to Emerald. Every top coach has made a video on it. Just keep watching it until someone resonates with you or finally like it clicks. We all don't learn the same. All 6 of us here learn in 6 different ways. So keep trying to find new ways that work for you, and don't stop asking questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions in our training group, because we're all in the same boat. We've all had those first questions. I remember the first time someone said that they were interested, and I was like, oh God, what do I do next? Oh, that's so scary. I don't know. I'm done. I quit. So like, I remember asking my coach what to do. So just feel free to keep the questions coming, and know that everyone starts at ground zero. So. Maggie,
I have one more question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no.
So I think Megan, one of her assignments for us was to make our Facebook public. I don't know. I just feel really weird about that because I have a lot of pictures of my kids, because we have family that lives out of the country. Like, do you have to make everything public? Or, I mean, I make all my Beachbody related stuff public, but do we have to make everything public? Is that the suggestion?
That's a good question. It depends on your comfort level. I'm a single mom. I live by myself. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I think, frankly, if someone's going to come steal something or steal my daughter, they'd send her back in like 5 seconds after listening to her talk. I'm not like super worried about that. I don't know. I think it's the way that things are set up is to make us feel scared. Actually, this was just talked about in the diamond wall in this like upper level thing. And it depends on your comfort level. Do you have a reason to be nervous for your safety or your family's safety? I have an ex-boyfriend, my daughter's father, who I've blocked him and his entire family, so they have no idea what's going on. Sure, if they Googled me, they can find me. We don't have a bad relationship or anything, but I just don't need to know my business. But other than that, I'm not super worried of people seeing a picture of my kid. I don't put any of my like settings that say like, oh, she's in Portsmouth, New Hampshire right now. Like, when you check in and stuff, I don't do that. Or maybe like if you feel uncomfortable, like if you go to the grocery store and don't want to do a post about it when you get back to your house. Like no one needs to know like that it was that exact second that you were at the grocery store. It doesn't have to be like, you're not lying. You went to the grocery store, you did this, so like that, if you're worried, like just think about what your fears are and if they're rational and where they're coming from. I do have some people that are teachers on our team that don't like to share certain things because their kids are watching. Like if they share a before and after picture, they're like, I'm in a bikini and my students watching that, and that's weird. I'm like, totally fine. Do what you need to do. I personally have actually blocked I work a corporate job. I used to be public to all of them. I've actually blocked them, every single person I work with, from Facebook, because my business came into my day job and I wasn't going to have anything. I wasn't going to let it jeopardize that. So I just blocked them all, 50 of them one day. I was like, well, guess you're not seeing my stuff anymore if you think that anything. So just think about like, that's my thought on it. I'm totally okay with it. I don't know. One of my coaches doesn't do it because she's afraid to like talk when her husband's out of town, and because she's nervous about it. That's totally fine. You don't talk about your husband when he's or about him being out of town when he's out of town, but you can talk about when he comes back, like, what her part of her story is, raising all the kids and stuff. So whatever you feel like your comfort zone is, or if you want to start out that way. I just think that for me personally, I think the hype of the security thing is kind of like, what are they going to do? I may have no money. I like the most expensive thing they could take in my house is like, I don't even know, nothing. So I have insurance. Like what, think about the true real thing of why then the fear is there. And if it is something like your job or your child safety and there's a true reason, then yeah, feel free to only have certain posts. But your Facebook profile is your storefront. And people want to see your pictures of your kids. Like, did you ever think about that before? Like, I don't know. That's my mentality. And I live up in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. And I mean, if someone took me, there'd be a while before people noticed. So, but if your job is affected by it, that's totally fine to keep it private. I think that's what I think. You know, anyone else have an opinion on that one? Can't hear you, Sam.
Sorry, Madonna over here. I used to, sorry, I'm at work. I used to be super concerned about that at first. I didn't post anything. I was like, Katie, I posted nothing before I was a Beachbody coach. No, I didn't post that I was pregnant until 2 days after I had my son. And that's just how I was. And my husband's in the Army, so I was very nervous at first. Like, how is this going to impact his career? Because it's very political and he's full time. And I was like, well, but I had like all these weird things. And I'm like, well, like when I was I'm still a social worker here, but I was like, well, was I concerned how my social work job impacted his career? No, that literally had nothing to do with anything. And I was like, if someone has a problem that his wife is getting healthy and sharing it and trying to inspire others, that's not my problem. I definitely don't post anything that puts him in a negative light, or I wouldn't do that anyway, you know. So it's just, you're just living your life. You're just living it a little more open. And I think it's actually so much more valuable to do that, because I know me, I struggled with just mom stuff because being a mom sucks and is hard. And I mean, I love my kids. And I know for me, like, I've had people reach out to me and be like, oh my God, you posted that video about how your kid tried to make you untoast his bread. Oh my God. Like, yeah. I thought my kid was the only idiot like that. Thank God you posted that. Like, I had literally a coach sign up because of my toast bread video that I posted. And I mean, just stuff like that. Like, if I didn't make that public, how I'm taking that away from her. I'm taking potential support away from her and potential opportunity away from her by not making it public. I mean, I talked about my kid and toast, like, not a big deal. Like, in terms of my life, it actually was a huge deal.
Yeah.
But not in terms of like security. But I don't do location. I don't, do where my kids go to school. I don't do where I work. But that's just because I'm trying to get the F out of here. So I don't want people to make that connection. So, you pick and choose. But for the most part, like, people, in terms of security, people aren't coming after health and fitness, stuff. They're not worried about that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. And I try to just stay away from anything like controversial, like around election time. I didn't get into it. I didn't like or comment on anything political, whether it was someone I was in favor of or someone I wasn't in favor of. I didn't even post that I voted. It wasn't worth it to me. I'm not getting in fights. I'm just here to add positivity. And I kind of changed my mindset in that. I was like, I'm only here to add light and like positivity to people. That wasn't it. So like, that's when you kind of get like, I feel like the anger comes in, and that's when things get out of control. But, if someone's going to get mad, and I've had people unfriend me, I've had people block me, I've had, all sorts of things like that. I'm like, okay, sorry I offended you with my workout today, So I think if you just keep it, if you just keep the positivity in mind with your posts and like adding light to people, I don't see how that can, but then just keep take it on yourself. There are definitely coaches that have built their business. I know, actually, I just read on this post on this other thing that this girl only calls her kid Bubs, Bubs. She's never actually said his name on Facebook. She doesn't talk about, where they live and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of a cool thing. Like, my daughter has a very unique name, and they could find her immediately. Like, if you just look at her and look at her name, they could find her anywhere. She's not that hard to miss. So like, I like that idea. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool for someone who maybe isn't comfortable having their kid. And actually, the funny story with that particular kid, who she's called Bub this whole time, someone took that little boy's picture and used it as a meme that went viral. Nothing bad. Like, it was a silly little thing, but it's so funny that, it doesn't hurt anyone. It's gonna, it's funny for 10 minutes and then passes. So, but I think that's a very good question. And I totally understand that, especially because Facebook can be so weird and scary, and you see these things in horror stories, but I've never heard of anyone like having anything happen to them from their post, because if you just keep the positivity and lightheartedness in it, and it should be good. But
yeah, I'm a teacher and I have really stalkery students this year.
Yeah. And, you can do either the same things. You can have certain things, or you can also create what we call a like page, which we'll go into in a few days in the training group. But
cool.
It's kind of like a business page or actually I have a few teachers and they changed their names. So, Maggie is one of my coaches. And so instead of it saying her full name, Maggie Olson, it says Maggie Lou, which is her middle name. So it's harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, limits her abilities a little bit, but that way at least no one can look up your entire name and be like, oh, there she is, So that might be a thought too.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That was a good question. Anyone else have any other questions? Poor Megan. Hi, sweetie.
I apologize, guys. My
You're
husband's
fine.
not here.
My husband's not here.
Because he's working too. But I just want to say thank you to all of you for spending some time with us tonight. I know that we're all busy. We all got stuff going on, but I hope that this was helpful. Please feel free to interact any way in the group with us and ask any questions at all. Like, no question's a dumb question. Don't be afraid. If you have it, I know somebody else does. And, if there's something you're looking for and it's not what we even talked about that day, still ask it.
Absolutely.
We're here for guys. We want you to legitimately be successful and, have this be something of value for you and your families. So
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for hopping on. And Bryce, you need to go to sleep.
Did you hear us, Katie? She said you need to go to sleep.
Poppy's already asleep. He's been asleep for a while. You got to go catch up.
My poppy is a little bit sleepy.
He has a poppy.
Oh.
It's his pop-up. Yep. All right.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Katie.
you.
Bye.
Bye, girls.
Bye.